Okay, so the next balloon animal I'm going to show you how to make is a balloon bee. And this is a little bit easier than the other balloon animals I've shown you how to make so far, in that it has a much lower number of steps. But it's also a bit trickier than the others to get it to work out the way you want it to look. But we'll give it a try. So, like before, we're going to blow up the balloon almost all the way, leaving half an inch to an inch of uninflated balloon at the very end. And this time, excuse me, I'm going to leave closer to like an inch of space at the end, because if everything works out right, this pointy bit at the end will become the stinger. Excuse me. So just tie this off like normal. Okay. Straighten it out a bit. And we're ready to start. So the first thing you want to do is create a sausage that's like an inch and a half long on the end of the balloon where you just tied the knot. So like that. Then you bring the whole balloon around like this. And you want to, this joint here, you want to line that up with a point on this end of the balloon that's about 4 inches from the stinger. So right there maybe. And so you line up the joint right there. You've got these two things parallel to each other. And then you just twist them together a couple of times. So there's two. Excuse me. And then you're left with something like this. This is the head and the stinger. This loop here is going to become the wings. And all you do for that is you push it down like this. And take a wing in each hand, one on the left, one on the right. And gripping it tightly with both hands, twist the right wing away from you a couple of times. So like this. There's one, and then there's two. You end up with something like that, but you want the wings to be horizontal, so I'll just twist them around a little bit so that I get them that way. And a lot of the time when I'm making these balloon bees, I just end up sort of tinkering with stuff and twisting around a lot to get things to look the way I want them to. And that's probably just because I'm a beginner at this as well. You know, if you're a pro, you can probably make one of these and everything turns out in the right place on the first try. But there we go. I twisted the right wing around a couple of times, and then I worked everything around, twisted things to make it work out looking like this. So that's basically a balloon bee. What I'm going to tell you is that there's actually two ways that you can make a balloon bee. This is just the first one. And as you can see on the box instructions, you can see that here they just have two wings, a head, and the stinger. And that's all there is to it for a balloon bee. So as far as the box is concerned, this is a balloon bee. But I've also watched another tutorial that adds an extra step onto this, and I think it makes the bee look a lot better. So I'll go ahead and show you that as well. So if you're fine with this, you know, if you're content with this, then you can just stop there and you've got a bee, or you can keep going and make this more sort of advanced bee that I'm going to show you now. So for the more advanced bee, you go through all of the steps that we just went through. You're left with this. And then the extra steps that you do, you want to create a very small bubble right here. As small as you can get it without all the air rushing out of the bubble. Because with these balloons, sometimes what will happen is you try to make a very small bubble or sausage, and then all of the air just poofs out of it and goes to a different part of the balloon. So just as small as you can get it, make a small little section there. And so this is going to become like the mid-section of the bee. The bee is going to have a head here, this sort of abdomen here, and then this is going to be the stinger, of course. So it's going to have a 3-section body. So what you do, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, is you take the stinger here and you pull it up and back so that it's between the wings on top. So like this, right? You got it like there. And then you take the section that you just created here, like this midsection, and you twist it around a few times. Just do your best. So I've just gripped it, and I'm going to try to twist it now. So here's 1, 2, 3. And now you've got this, and it's upside down. So a disclaimer that I got to give right now is that, of course, I'm a beginner. I'm learning how to do this. And the video that I watched where they include this step, they twist it around, this part here, they twist this around, and everything comes out right side up. At the moment, I don't really know how they're doing that. I've slowed down the video, watched it again, and that part of the particular video that I watched isn't very clear. So, but it's okay, because what I've been doing is just sort of twisting everything around until it ends up right side up in the way that I want it to be. Because what you want is for this head to be pointing down and the stinger to be pointing down and have this section in the middle. And so I'm just going to sort of take the stinger, twist it around so that it's pointing downward. Do the same thing with the head. And then we've got, sort of like that, right? And so now all this is the right way around. This is pointing down, this is pointing down, and you have this in the middle. And then I'll just twist the wings a little bit so that they're nice and horizontal, or as horizontal as I can get them, and make them, even and not crooked. Let's try that. It's just a lot of working it around. And again, if you're a pro at this, then you probably don't have to do this, but I do because I'm not that good at it yet. Okay, and then you have something like this. This is still, the body section is a little bit crooked still, so I'm going to try to pull it around, straighten out the head. And there you go. So that, that was a little bit of a rigmarole in the end, trying to twist everything around like that. But it worked out eventually through just, working with it. And you end up with this. You've got the head, and then the sort of abdomen section here, and then the stinger in the back. Straighten it out a little bit. There we go. So, and in the end, there's your bee. If this last bit where I made the abdomen here, if that still isn't clear enough, then I will include a link to the video that I watched in the description of this video. So anyway, there you go.